So hey everyone, welcome back to JSMFX. Today we're gonna do something very interesting, and I'm going to start off with my equity curve from FTMO and how I've been performing all through the months ever since I started, which is on that 27th of May. And as you can see, that's my equity curve, and it was really doing well. Sometimes I did have drawdowns like here and here, but from there I figured out that there's some things that I was missing, and so I had to get back on track and focus on what I needed to do. So up until the month of August, where I started right here, as you can see, it's been on a downfall like that. But I came to realize that within this period there are so many hesitation that I had in my trading and my analysis, so I had to switch that back up and wanting to see on how I can, get back to restore myself to parity, and also get back my equity curve to the upside. So that's where now I came to, sort out some few things from here. That is, I think, on 26th coming in this last week. And as you can see, things are not have been not very bad, especially for yesterday, Friday the 29th of August, where I had a very good trade, and at least put me back up to some few percentage to the upside. So with this one, I think this is about 1.6 1.68, somewhere there. Yeah, 1.68 percent right now, but around here it was, I think, about 2%. So for now, as you can see, things are just like that, and I am praying that as next week comes, or rather next month starts, then I'll be looking to see on how I will progress from there. But I've also been downsizing my ways of trading and looking at how I can take just one trade per day, so that I also minimize on my screen time and also see on where my edge really fits. Okay, so that is how I've just been looking at my trading journey. So as you can see, consistency score, that's not that bad, and that is just the statistics on how I'm doing on my daily loss, maximum loss, and also the profit that I'm still expecting to attain. Uh, this is still phase one, so I'm, very confident that I know I'll, pass on to the phase one and go to the phase two. So with statistics, 48.15% on a win rate, average profit is that, average loss is that, sharp ratio, loss size are those, number of trades are those. This is, I think, average trades I take per day. It's 3.2, somewhere around there. And then expenses is that, profit factor. So I'm not doing this to, discourage anyone. I'm doing this so that I can encourage you and see on how the reality of, this whole forex thing is really going on. You need to understand that through this way and looking at other people's examples or performances, you'll get to expound your ways of thinking and actually refine yourself to know on what to do next, also in your trading. So for my daily summary, where now these are my trades that I took, as you can see, the month of August has not been that very good, especially from here, 6th of August. So a couple of break events, but most losses, but at least with this 200 gets me back up to 50.82. So that means, I'm getting back up to that threshold, or rather that parity, and continue to the upside as speculated. So I don't have much. Let us now jump into the news. This is just a sneak peek of what is really going on, and I don't want to do all these videos to just show you the analysis part. Also the performance part is very important, so that someone else can be encouraged and know what to do next also in their journey. So let's jump on to the news before we start off the weekly analysis, forecasts, and also reviews of JSMFX. If you want, you can just, do all the necessary down there in the description box with the like, subscribing, and sharing, and blah blah blah. And yeah, I'll appreciate. So let's jump now to the news. Okay, so news, we are starting next week, and we're starting a new month. So it's gonna be very, very interesting because we have NFP on Friday. But looking at Monday here, I don't see anything important for me. although we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI on GBP. So I think for those that are trading GU, get ready for some action. Also with the euro, I see so much of a PMI also happening, which for me also I'll keep in mind to just see on how everything will be from there. Secondly, on Monday I won't be around, so I think I'll be very safe not to trade on this day because of all this, and also I'll be away. But despite all that, I think you still need to be very careful looking at how Monday unfolds coming in next week, which is the start of a new month, September 2025. On Tuesday, yes, S&P Global now for the US and also ISM manufacturing. I think also we will have some few activity here going on, and yeah, so I'll also be looking. I'll actually be available on Tuesday, so for this day I'll be very much wary of what is going to happen, and be very frugal on how or what to do in my trading and also in my charts. Wednesday, not so much. Joel's job openings, it's to me it can be important, but not really. For S&P Global also, again on pound, I think that is also another news that we should look out for, and see on how things will be on that day. Thursday, yes, we have all this for US news, for the United States news, and I think for the dollar this will really get affected, and also be a bit volatile to just show or give us maybe the good direction to the way that it will unfold on Thursday. But fortunately, normally I won't be around on that day. So coming in on Friday now, this is where the whole show will start and how the new month will unfold. If you ask me, I feel price has just been ranging, especially on Euro USD. So I'm kind of believing that up from Monday to Thursday, price could be ranging, and also do a manipulation before Friday with the NFP, if I'm not wrong. Yes, with the NFP, uh, that now will give us a new direction to know where price maybe is going to go, especially for the dollar pairs. So that is just that much, and let's now jump into the analysis, and we're going to start with Euro USD and see what we have in store. Okay, so Euro USD first and foremost. Starting on from the weekly, for me, yes, we are still on this supply here, and price has not showed any kind of direction on where it needs to go next. Yes, we have this liquidity taken out right here, and a very long week which push price up like that. If you ask me, this is what I see. Number one is these two supplies, this one and this one, could be run. Okay, they could get run, and then maybe see on how things can turn out to be from there. So if you check very well, after this long week we've had this upside, okay, but starting from here we had this pullback, and then price went up and then came down, maybe to take some few liquidity areas, okay. And for my speculation, I feel maybe price could react from this demand and then shoot to the upside, just to induce more buyers, number one. But to take out all these highs before maybe possibly switching direction to the downside, maybe to come and mitigate this demand, which, as you can see, it had a fair share of change of character from here, actually from here, but price has never gotten back to that point, and so it left that with this very long candle, bullish candle, which now left a void. So yeah, maybe should be waiting for it to come and see how it will come down to here, possibly next month or maybe the end of 2025. So let's now go to the daily. So daily also very dramatic, as I said before on the news scene that we have a very huge ranging market. Okay, so for me, I still look at this as a downward move. Okay, but it's so interesting that after this move, okay, as you can see, it created some few higher highs, higher lows. We came back to mitigate that demand, and then price shot to the upside again, only for it to pull back and come and take out this liquidity, especially this one, and I think no, just two of these ones, and then now it's shooting back up to maybe continue, possibly continue with the trend to the upside, or maybe to induce more buyers so that people can place their liquidity, sorry, can place their stop loss there and then come and run them out. If you ask me, I feel this can just push price to the upside still, because all this is just an upward move, and also after this mitigation of this demand, we see a very strong push to the upside. So maybe the holding of this demand can also continue with the trend to the moon. 4 hour. Now 4 hours was very interesting. We had a couple of trades. Some were losses, some were winners. But yeah, we soldier on just like that. Let me start off by zooming in. So 4 hour. Let me just start off from here. Like I said, in the daily, we mitigated this demand, okay, and then price shot to the upside like that, and then we see again that price came down to mitigate somewhat the demand there, and then went to the upside, ranged again, then shot to the upside. So you see how the upward move it's actually created. So the pullback was there, yes, just to induce more sellers like that, okay, but also to take out this liquidity and mitigate that demand. So you need to also be very wary that every time you see a void like this, price always has to come back. Price always has to come back to that level before maybe continuing or maybe reversing with the trend. And also, just like the way I've just explained here, no, right here, we also have this one. So I'm anticipating this one also to come and get run. Okay, so that is why I'm that confident to say that price could continue to the upside. So also another proof, we had a liquidity taken out right there, and then price came down to also take out liquidity. So you see how when price is ranging, the only job it can do is just, trap traders and then take them out, trap them and take them out, trap them and take them out. Then before that, now they're also planning to pull a very large sum of liquidity, where now they would want to come and take them out later before possibly continuing or reversing with the trend according to their plan. So here we had a change of character right here, and then price shot to the upside. So when I noticed that there was this pullback on Friday, I drew in also I think this is a bearish flag, which actually got broken, and I shared this trade in the group. So for whoever that is in my group, then I'm sure you're in profits right now, but I already told them to trail their stop losses, because at least price moved a share amount of distance from the way that we are seeing there. I think this should be, I don't know how many pips is it, but I don't mostly look at pips unless I am calculating my stop losses, or rather my targets. So for this one, I think this is a 3R, so we're expecting price to at least come not only here, but also to mitigate this supply that was left. So that is what I'm anticipating on Euro USD. But also I am, very wary of this demand down here. Maybe price could come down there and then do that. So anyone who's maybe in my group and trailing the stop losses, you're still safe. We can still grab in some few profits even if we are taken out. And yeah, if we are taken out, then we'll have to wait for price to possibly come down here and then take another trade to at least continue to the upside. So that is what I'm anticipating on a Euro USD coming in next week. And let's now look at 15 minutes to see and note down some few trades that were missed and those that were um, winners. So 15 minutes, just a second. Okay, so 15 minutes, we see a very dramatic week. I think this should be starting around here, if I'm not wrong. This is a Tuesday 26, yes, around here. So after I noticed that price was coming back to this 4-hour demand, let's just see on where that was. I think that was around here. Okay, around here. So around here, I noticed that we had this movement to the upside like that, which price reacted from this demand. It also reacted from this one. I think this was, I'm not sure, I think CPI. But yeah, so we had a good pullback, which actually brought us back down like that. And then when price got to here, I put in my buy stop, and price tagged me. So up until here, as you can see, this is a BE line. So when price came to there, I put my stop loss at break even, and then I let it run. So as you can see, price didn't go well to my direction, and so it had other plans to just come back and mitigate. Actually, I was taking out my trailing stop loss when I trailed, I think, around here, just below this demand. So price came back to that demand, and as you can see, it violated it and went or continued back to the downside. So up until then my iBoss was taken out again. So I want to let you know that anytime you see these entry boxes where it will have these purple lines, purple and red color, those are the missed trades. Those are the hesitated trades. Okay, so don't get me wrong, sometimes we sometimes we go through such things where we see things and we believe maybe they could work out, but we are still skeptical. So yeah, so this was a missed trade. As you can see, we had a change of character there. So when price returned there, this would have been a very good trade to take from, which actually flew to the upside like that. So yes, so iBoss now is continuing to the upside. As you can see, it's building higher highs and higher lows. So also here, I think this was on Wednesday. I also hesitated on this one. No, this was on Thursday. This trade was on Thursday, but I was monitoring it. It's just that I was waiting for price to at least come down here before maybe continue to the upside. That was the anticipation that I had. But because I was aware, I was still checking on my phone and noticed that this demand was holding, but I was still skeptical um, to take the trade from there. As you can see also, with that demand that was created there, it broke the last high and went to the upside. So it was, when it was coming back, it was just doing the pullback where it came to that point. And I think this happened, yeah, on a London Open. So yes, so we had a change of character there. We didn't have the returns, so price continued to the upside. So this would have been a very good trade, just to take it from a typical point of view, not just wait for all those confluences, same as this one. So this would have been another good 3-hour trade, which pushed price to the upside. So I think coming in, going on with the Thursday, we see very well that also this demand held and then push price to the upside. So yes, price again came back down, only to cause this change of character, and then we had a pullback like that. Now we have started Friday. Okay, now we have started Friday, and as you can see, let me try and zoom in to maybe show you some few areas where I was looking at. So coming in on Friday, I noticed that we had this trend line that was built. Okay, and I noticed that was just that was the liquidity point that they were targeting, and also this one was another liquidity point. So you can see how the internal structure was made from here to here. Okay, so I was playing between that high and that low. Price came and took out liquidity there, but did actually close below. So this pullback was just to induce more buyers. Okay, to induce more buyers, which eventually they came and took them out during the London session. Because if you check very well, this was a Frankfurt also range, and then London induced more buyers to buy, only for them to come and take them out during London session, and also the Asian session that was created on New York afternoon, and also the Asian session, the whole of Asian session before we woke up. So when price now came to here, like I said before, this was the 4-hour demand that I was expecting price to come back to. So price did just that during the New York Open, and then I placed in my buy stop there, which actually drove price to the upside. So this was a very good trade, although this one I was expecting for price to bounce off from there, but didn't. And so after I considered this loss and accepted it, I waited for price to come here. So as you can see, we don't have much of confluences around here. The same way we could look at this one. Sorry, the same way we could look at this one down here, where we have change of character and the return right here. So what is happening is there were confluences around here, but only on the lower time frames. So what I can only say is maybe we can go to the lower time frames to see on how price did actually act from there, and then yeah, how I was taken out on my trailing stop loss that I placed around there. So let's just check on that real quick before we close up for Euro USD. So 5 minutes, what do we have? 5 minutes after price came to that level, okay, after price came to this level, my level, I noticed that we had some few fights that were going on. People were competing on whether we are continuing to sell or buy. But for me, I saw a change of character right there. And then price started reacting and also obeying demand levels, as you can see. So price went up and then came down deeper inside this demand level, which now forced me to put in my buy stop there, and then price short to the upside. So for this one, I'll be very honest, I wasn't around. I did place my trade and then I left off at the house. So when I got to where I was going, that is the church, I was going for a service. I trailed my stop loss while in church and I trailed it to there, which eventually later on during the night, even when I came back home during the night, I saw price came and took my trailing stop loss out. But it was still a good trade. Despite all, this would have been a 5.2, 5.12 if it had reached full TP. But also for my rules, I think 3.1 would have been around there, which if I had left it for 3.1, then this would have been a very good trade and reaching full TP. So I guess also I won't want to sugarcoat this, but that was how I did it out of greed. I did it out of greed and also confidence, overconfident that price would continue to the upside and hit that 4-hour supply that we just saw on the 4-hour time frame. So that is just how I'm looking at things on Euro USD. So for me, I won't want to say much on 15 minutes, but 4-hour is very clear that maybe we would be reacting to this demand possibly next week, or maybe range like this. Let me just try and show you, because we have NFP on Friday. We could be doing something like this. Okay, they could do something like this, maybe range, do a couple of pullbacks, do a couple of pullbacks like that, then maybe come and take out all this liquidity, maybe mitigate this demand, and also finally maybe doing the move that they actually wanted to move to come and mitigate the supply. So that's just my anticipation, but let us wait and see. And yeah, wait to see on how Euro USD will uncover itself coming in next week and the beginning of the month of September 2025. So let's move on now to USD CHF and yeah, close the day and the analysis and the video and the episode. Okay, so USD CHF, last but not least. Judging from the monthly, I can say that this supply has not been touched yet, but we see with this candle, somehow we could be seeing that maybe it came and touched it and also push price down. So this could be the thing that's happening right now, that price went down like that and then came up, and then excuse me, this would also be used to continue push price lower. So just the monthly perspective, don't have much to say from there. Weekly, we also see the same thing, like I said. push to the downside and then pull back. Now with the weekly, we see that we have two supplies. We have this one, which was touched. I think that is where we have that monthly supply that I told you about, where it got touched. So price came down like that. Let me just try and draw that through. So price came down like that and then reacted with this inside bar and then shot to the downside again. So what price has done right now is just come back to this supply. So maybe this supply could be the one used to continue to the downside. So we have this pullback, which also proves to us that maybe we could continue to the downside. So opposite from Euro USD, like we said, it's going up, while USD CHF is always going down. So they always move opposite. Unless now we have this weekly change of character to the upside, then we'll shift our perspective. But for now, as you can see, price is just reacting and obeying, or rather respecting all the levels, especially of the supply that is continuing to push price down. So if we have the break to the upside like that, say next week or maybe during the month of September, then maybe now we'll come and look for any demand areas here and possibly just continue to the upside and mitigate such areas like there, because as you can see, that is one of the supplies that had not been mitigated when price pushed down to also break that low. The daily, let me first delete this. So from the daily perspective, we also see that the push price to the up to the downside like that, okay, it was actually creating a trend line. As you can see, it was creating a trend line, and then price came up to that supply and then shot back down to mitigate some few areas of demand like this one, and then shot back up. So we see that trend line being broken, and right now price is also doing the pullback, because if you check very well, we have this inside bar, which was another pullback, and then we had a high again forming and getting deeper into this supply, then coming down to create the change of character, which eventually again came back up to mitigate that supply and then push price to the downside. We also had another change of character here, which all these ranging candles were just areas to collect more liquidity, especially from all areas, that is the buy side and sell side, which the buy side obviously came and took them out with this from these highs, and then shot to the downside to also take out all these relative lows. Okay, so again we have this bullish candle pulling back to that supply right here. I couldn't draw on it because it will make my chart look untidy. So you get the concept that after that we now again push price to the downside like that. So maybe the wood be coming to this demand before maybe continue to the upside. So that is just my perspective on the daily for USD CHF. So let's look now at 4 hour. So very interesting pair. Also time frame. We see after the pull, after the break of that trend line, this daily trend line, we see the price push up, okay, and then push down again. I think this was the news. This was NFP on Friday, 1st of August, I guess. Was it? Yes, 1st of August. So price push back again, also to the same daily supply, had another daily, sorry, 4 hour supply. So yeah, and then push price to the downside. So as you can see, price also range around here, okay, but all this was because they had left this supply and also some few areas of supply here, which they were actually coming to mitigate and also building liquidity, as you can see from that red line, and then short to the downside. So that's when I had this trade, but it didn't go so well because I was expecting it for expecting it to at least come to this demand, but that didn't go so well. So price came and took me out. So after there, now we had this change of character again to the downside, and then price again started to do the pullback, okay, to that supply after that change of character, which now push price again lower to continue with the move to the downside. So you see how when they are pulling back, they are doing it very correctively to also build more liquidity, okay, to build more liquidity and then continue with the trend. So when the pullbacks happen, they're just building liquidity like here, like also here. Okay, the way you saw that I drew this trend line and then it got broken. So this trend line also could be liquidity. Okay, it could be liquidity which now they're broken and then they're continuing to the downside. So again, after coming down to these kissing candles, okay, we see very well that they also left double top, double bottom. Okay, so for those trading the tops and bottoms, yeah, I just hope that maybe if you had your own trade, then you had not gone very far, you taken your profits, blah blah blah, because as you can see, it came and took them out later on. So what is happening right now is after price came down like this and then shot to the upside and then came down again to take out all those double bottom. Right now price has come and mitigated the supply after the break of this low, okay, of the internal structure of 4 hour to the downside, and also wanting to show us that it wants to mitigate this daily demand and also the 4 hour demand that is nested inside the daily, this one here. So for me, I'm anticipating maybe for this one, this supply, that is where my pointer is, the supply, maybe price would come and react from there and then continue to the downside before maybe getting some move like this. Okay, and then maybe we get a change of character, look for a return, and then continue to the upside, maybe something of the sort. Also, I'll keep in mind that if price doesn't, I want you to listen to me very carefully. If price doesn't touch here, okay, if price touches here first before it comes to this supply, okay, then this trade won't be I won't be interested in taking this trade. Okay, but if price does move from here to come to this supply, then I'll be interested in taking this trade and then move with it to the downside, because I believe that this demand, the daily and the 4 hour, needs to attract price to come to. So maybe we could do another pullback. Let me just remove all this. So maybe we could do another pullback, okay, again to this supply, okay, just to induce more people and more buyers and then create more liquidity. The same way they've done here, the same way they've done here, the same way they've done here, so on and so forth, and also here. Okay, yeah, so maybe if that does happen and then we get this setup, let's say on a Friday, okay, then I'll be very confident to also trade it in the window period or on within the window period of all the, what do you call them, the pro firms like the FTMO. So I'll be very much interested and move down with it, hoping that the price would continue to the downside. Let's not also forget that we have this trend line to the downside like that, which is also building more liquidity before it looks to see maybe if it wants to come to there or not. But overall, the trend for the 4 hour is to the downside, because we have this low taken out when a price came and shot down and closed below it. So we are on a downtrend on the 4 hour, but yeah, let's see on how we can capitalize on such moves coming in next week. 15 minutes, very interesting. I think I did I don't know if no, I didn't. So let's just go through those trades that would have been missed and also taken. So number one, we have this one. I think I already explained about this one on my previous video, because this was on 25th. Oh, sorry, this was on 25th, so this should be next week, this week actually. So we'll try and zoom in. So after price came around here, this was on Monday, I wasn't around, but we have a change of character, as you can see, and then price came back to that whole range, the, what do you call it, the buy to sell range. It pulled back there and then continued to the downside, and then started again with the corrective pullbacks, okay, and then another change of character and another pullback to that supply, and then price continued to the downside. I think for this one, For this one, I was taken out. I think I was taken out of my trading stop loss, if I'm not wrong, because I remember doing a very quick video on my TikTok to show people, how your nerves can get, how your emotions and psychology could be played out, having such moves, having such moves to in your trades. So as you can see, price did respect all those supply levels like this one, and then all that now was just to come back to this demand, which again short price to the upside. Okay, I think I let this one go. Yes, now I remember, I let this one go believing that it will come here, but that didn't happen, because when it came up like this, yeah, this one, I remember now, it got me out on break even. It got me out on break even. It was a very painful it was a very painful trade, because yeah, I was really going on very well, but I was expecting it to come here. So I guess I should now start considering, controlling my greed, because as you can see, this would have been a very good 3R. But yeah, I think coming in next week, I'll have to stick to my plan and, get the 3R and get the hell out. So we have the move to the upside like that again. And then, yes, we had a change of character, but price didn't pull back. Price didn't pull back to the supply, especially this one. So what it did, it broke again to the downside and then respected this supply, which again pushed price to the downside, which eventually came and uh, found it, or maybe got it back to um, the demand that we're expecting for price to come to. So as you can see, this one was now a hesitated trade on, but this was on Thursday, so obviously I wasn't around. And yeah, and also this one being on Wednesday, I hesitated on it. This one I hesitated. I'll be very honest, I hesitated and I didn't want to take that trade. But still, I would have taken it. It would have been a very good 3R again. Again, change of character from this low. We have a change of character here, which pushed price to the upside and then came to that whole buy to sell range, which now came and respected this demand, but still it was inducing more buyers right here, creating more sell side liquidity, which came and took them out. And then, like I said, after the change of character, we must have that pullback. So the pullback was completed, filled up those orders from that demand, and then continued to the upside. So for this one also, I didn't take it, but it would have been a very good trade. And also it happened during New York afternoon, so that would have been a very good trade. For this one, this would have been a very good trade that happened at Frankfurt, because if you check very well, we had this pullback, then we went up, then it came and broke that low, this one, which is on a change of character, and then a return to that supply, which again pushed price to the downside. So that was another good trade that I missed. So went back up, creating more liquidity, as you can see from here. Okay, creating more liquidity, which when price now came down, this now was on Friday. When price now came down, it took out, or it built more liquidity after also taking out a few of Asian liquidity, especially from this sell side. We see that price came down like that and then shot back to the upside. So for this one, I took this trade, but it wasn't that clear for me. As much as there was this change of character, I already figured or remembered that we had this pullback. We had this pullback to the downside, which mitigated that demand and then short price to the upside. But again, when price came down, it came down to the same demand and then short to the upside. So for this trade, I only took it from the funded next competition, which as you can see, it played out very well. I placed in my stop loss, I think around here, which was, they came and took me out. So for me, what I can say is, even after this move to the downside, and seeing on how that trade would have failed if I'd left my stop loss there, one thing I had not remembered or forgotten is we had that relative double bottom, you know so that would also given me would also have given me some more clues that even being in London session here, this would have been a very good trade, and also being confident to take them in all of my accounts. So for me, what I can say is, I'm refining myself, and every time I'm also doing these videos, I'm not doing them to show you or teach you, but also to help you see on how you can refine yourself the same way I am. And I'm also revising. I'm also doing a little bit of revision on what I've been learning and the things that I've been missing. So given the fact that higher time frame, I think this is the 4 hour, given the fact that I noticed this double bottom, I would have taken two trades, taken this trade from here, despite also this one coming to back to that demand. And also another thing that I forgot is that these two relative weeks, they didn't touch this demand. As you can see, they didn't touch that demand. So price coming in deeper, okay, inside that demand, the same one, meant that they were just taking out liquidity from here and here, and also the rest of the Asian side, okay, which now that is the one that got price to get pushed to the upside. And then yeah, if it was a 3 hour, I think that would have been met. Yeah, you see, 3.25. So I think I should be strict on my 3 hours so that I can get to grab the few profits that are there, and then get in and move my equity curve pointing to the moon. So for now, as much as the whole structure, especially the internal structure, is somehow confusing, because we see that we had broken that low, okay, so we don't know of the next move that is going to happen. But from a higher time frame perspective, we still have this supply that needs to be touched, say maybe into this 15 minute, or maybe this 15-minute supply. But also we have this demand, the 4 hour demand down here, that also is hungry and waiting for price. So all that is just for us to do analysis and to see on what we have in store coming in next week. So I don't have much. That is just the whole picture of Euro USD, CHF, the news, and also my um, profile metrics. So if you want to trade together, I'll leave the links in the description box below. That is on Telegram. And also for TikTok, I leave out some few tips for people to look at, and also a roundup of what we have seen in this video. So if you want us to trade together, you can check on my link below. And also don't forget to give your brother some few support. And also, if you want some private mentorship, you want to get to see or maybe trade live with me, then maybe you can let me know in my inbox, either on TikTok or Telegram. And yeah, I'll leave all the links there. And would look forward to wait for see your message and also work with you. So you have a nice weekend. May you stay safe, and also greet everyone you love. God bless you guys. I hope you took some value from that. Peace out.